those nerds out there.
The Thomas Bryant jockstrap. Get him out of here. Ah!
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Donald, get back. They snatched that chain, boy. Get back. What y'all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back. We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back.
Hey, everybody. Welcome on in to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. And it is my absolute pleasure for the first time to say that we are presented by FanDuel. Nick, please tell us all about it.
Yeah, what about the announcement that went out this morning on Tuesday, August 26th? It is FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all your favorite football preseason predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race, crown your champion. Here in August are parlay your division winner dark horses. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, and your call with your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning on your future bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Huge welcome to FanDuel. Thanks for joining us here on the Big Play Network, and it is going to be one hell of a football season. We kind of got a preview of that already on Friday.
Who'd have thunk, guys? I'm Ryan Tyler. He's Nick Padone. He's Jack O'Rourke. Big things here at Big Play. Big things for the Cleveland Browns. We start here with the biggest storyline of the entire weekend. Of course, Shedeur Sanders, 10 series, 3 touchdown drives, 14 for 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I don't care how you felt about Shedeur Sanders going into that game, whether you liked him or whether you didn't like him, whether you wanted him to start, whether you didn't want him to start. The kid balled out. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. I just think the first thing I want to say about it is it was fun to be a Cleveland Browns fan for the first time in what felt like a really long time. I was out at our good friends at Lakewood Truck Park for the second half of that game, seeing the Browns get into the end zone around a group of people and just like everyone cheering for the Cleveland Browns. It felt like the first time, at least since the playoffs. So, man, it's just cool to see football back in a positive way for Cleveland.
It is, and it was fun probably for the first time since March 2022
when
they made the trade for Deshaun Watson. And I know, like, there were moments in 2023 when Joe Flacco took the helm and you went on that magic carpet ride to the playoffs, but you kind of knew that the boogeyman was behind the corner and that Deshaun Watson was going to come back at some point. So it was nice that for once it felt like we were able to turn over a new leaf as Browns fans. And, now we're kind of living in we are elbow deep in Shedeur Sanders mania right now.
I said I wasn't going to bring up Baker Mayfield in the first 2 minutes of the show, but like seeing Shedeur Sanders walk into his own song with a speaker that was probably bigger than me, like that was the first time we had like a cool like swag or cockiness to us for the first time in forever. Like Deshaun, you never once felt cool about Deshaun. I mean, for obvious reasons, about Deshaun Watson being your starting quarterback. Like Shedeur walking in, you were like, wow, like I'm proud to be a Cleveland Browns fan.
I mean, you had Nike putting out an advertisement
for a
in
preseason
the
game.
Third quarter of a preseason game for a 4th string quarterback. Like that's the type of motion that we're talking about here. It was fun. It's a fun morning to be a Browns fan.
It was a tremendous outing for the Browns' entirety, and we'll get to that, but we're starting with Shedeur Sanders, of course, as we have to. Getting the start earlier than expected, I thought he checked almost every box that I was looking for. And I'm a big Shedeur guy. I went into the game biased. I did, but I tried to take off my Shedeur-colored glasses and look at him as a rookie, and I thought he, like I said, passed every test. He was comfortable in the pocket. He didn't get... There were a couple times you wanted him to kind of stay in the pocket a little bit. He got a little bit scrambly there. But for the most part, he was comfortable. He was calm. Kevin was scheming people open. He was hitting them in space and delivering the ball. Luke Florio, who we'll talk about, had that tremendous sideline catch. I thought Shedeur Sanders did everything he could have. And we talked about how there might not have been much to gain, a lot to lose in that preseason start. But Shedeur Sanders, understanding the moment, I thought he did tremendous.
And that's what you want to see in the preseason, man. You want to see your expectations be confirmed. And Shedeur passed the eye test. Like we've seen in the last 20-some years here in Cleveland, 40 different starting quarterbacks, and that means 100 different quarterbacks just on the roster roll through those doors in Berea, and some of those guys didn't even pass the first initial eye test. Some of those guys you knew from Jump Street were not going to become the franchise quarterback, and that's not what we're trying to say here today. It was a fun performance from Shedeur. It was good. It was encouraging. That doesn't mean that it was without flaws. He turned his back to the defensive line twice. Try doing that against the Baltimore Ravens or against TJ Watt and see what happens to you. There were moments where, you said it, Ryan, he evaded the pocket where he could have stayed in. There were a couple times where he got a little lucky. Could have been interceptions that were drops. But when he's doing everything that they're asking him to do to move up that depth chart and to get more of an opportunity in these practice sessions, it's encouraging. Like Mary Kay Cabot put out that big column explaining to Browns fans why he hasn't had the same opportunity as Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco. And to keep things short, right, I'm told that in the meeting rooms, they really like that Dillon Gabriel can recite and repeat their language and their lingo the way that they want it to sound. Whereas Shedeur Sanders played in a little bit more of a QB-friendly offense at Colorado with his dad. Everything was tailored to him during his time with the Buffaloes, so he doesn't have that NFL intellect that Dillon Gabriel has because he played with 100 different college football teams and played 6 seasons, did Dillon Gabriel. But I think you saw on Friday that he was able to go through game speed in all process of the pre-snap. He was able to, relay plays to the line of scrimmage in the huddle, identified the defense, slid protections, directing motions, all of the things that it takes to run Kevin Stefanski's offense. He showed that he was able to do. I'm here to say that he deserves more of an opportunity beginning at practice today, and we shall see what happens.
I think basing stuff off the whiteboard is the dumbest thing of all time, Nick. Like Jensen talked about the laptop gang a little bit with Kyle Manzardo getting on the field I saw last week, but man, it's just one of those things where like, how many people do you know that are just of the dumbest that you've ever met in your whole entire life, but they get a 3.8 in school because they're good at memorizing things? Like, I don't think you can take memorization and put that, like, yeah, it's nice if you can learn a playbook, but at a certain point, you got to go out there and do it. But switching back to Shedeur and Nick, I think you made a great point about him turning his back to the defense. I will say that was a banner moment for anyone who's ever had 3 or 4 garage beers and logged on to college football, because that is so fun. You get to run backwards. Like that is what football is about to its core. So that was fun. But like, dude, overall too, when you're playing against the first team defense and you have a bunch of equipment managers for the first half, like, yeah, he got off to a slow start, but what'd you expect with that kind of a defense he was facing, even if it is the Carolina Panthers? Like, I was proud of the kid. I thought he was awesome.
There's certain things that you'll be able to teach a quarterback up. Like Shedeur, the happy feet. That's one thing, getting him comfortable. But I thought the pocket presence overall was pretty solid. There were 2 plays that I identified that I was like, Shedeur, like, that's not a rookie. It was 3rd and 9, back of their own end zone, and you had 2 rushers about to collapse it on Shedeur. He hung in the pocket, delivered a throw right over the middle to convert the first down. I believe that led to a touchdown. That's huge. Second play was in the red zone. A free rusher got right through the A-gap. Shedeur took one slide right. Running back did a tremendous job of picking up the free rusher, and he delivered the touchdown. Like, to me, that is a play where I don't expect a rookie to immediately come into the game's first live action against ones and read that and make that kind of play. I thought that was tremendous.
Was that the Mitchell kid that's like swung over and got him on the block?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I know the player you're talking about. Yeah.
The other piece of preseason football, right, that people do is it allows the haters of players that perform well to say, oh, well, it was just a preseason game. And we saw Dorian Thompson-Robinson be a 5th-round quarterback, ball out in his NFL debut. But Ryan, what you just hit on there, like, there were throws during that game that DTR never made. Even when he played well, namely that first touchdown pass where he was rolling to the left, that was triple coverage, and he put the ball in the one location that it had to be for the receiver to catch it. Like, those are Sunday throws, so the haters were able to get their licks in a little bit because DTR looked good in his first preseason game too. But yeah, there were a lot of reasons to be encouraged, and that's why pretty much anybody that's seen practice with their own 2 eyes have told you that Shedeur Sanders and Joe Flacco are probably the 2 best QBs out there, and that's maintained consistent through the first real live game action that we've been able to see.
And I just want to take a moment. Think of Shedeur Sanders in that moment, getting the start probably faster than you expected. All eyes are on you. The biggest preseason. I haven't looked at the ratings. I don't know if anybody has the
They're not
ratings
out
or if
yet.
they came out yet.
It's the
I'd
biggest.
imagine it's
I'll
the
say
most
it. It's the
viewed
biggest.
preseason game in NFL history. To step into that moment, he played more than I thought he was going to be honest with you. I mean,
47
I
plays.
can't, like you can subtract, say it's the preseason. You can subtract, say it's one start. But when we're talking about a 5th-round rookie, and we're talking about those limited opportunities, what else can you want for him to come in and take that right by the horns and do everything he can?
And you're also talking about a quarterback room where the other guys in it have a combined 0% chance of ever becoming anything of substance in the National Football League. Like, it's a 40-year-old who turns 41 this year in Joe Flacco, a journeyman backup at this point in Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, who's 5'11", and nobody thought was going to amount to anything in the National Football League other than being a journeyman backup, and Snoop Huntley, who if he gets snaps at practice today, I'm probably going to rip my hair out. So,
well, we're not done talking about the Browns at all. We talked about Shedeur Sanders. We'll get to the rest of the Browns, Mason Graham, etc. Guys, I tell you about Fairway Ford every single day on the show. When we get back, we not only are going to talk about Fairway Ford, we have a special guest who we mentioned on the show. If you listen to the show, you know who I'm talking about. We'll bring him in and talk about Fairway Ford and more Browns talk when we get back right here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody, welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network presented by FanDuel. Guys, I tell you every single day about Fairway Ford, and I'm going to do it again today. Fairway Ford is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the entire state of Ohio. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and they will not be beat on price by any other Ford dealer. You see right up there, Fairway Ford summer sale going on. It's the perfect time to make that short drive to Canfield, peruse over 500 vehicles in stock in their lot, and potentially find your dream vehicle. And at the same time, you're going to save thousands of dollars while you do that. Don't let that short drive prevent you from saving thousands of dollars. The largest inventory of new Ford trucks, lowest pricing, and same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com. That's fairwayfordohio.com. And now it is my absolute pleasure to welcome in Mike, the star of Mike Mondays over at Fairway Ford.
Boys. Let's do this. I love the hype. Let's get it going.
We've talked several times, and I say several, I mean at least dozens, about Mike Mondays. Before we dive in to the Browns, Mike, first of all, welcome to the Big Factor. Appreciate
Thank
you
you,
making the
boys.
drive
I
down.
like this. I like the atmosphere.
Tell us the origin of Mike Mondays, because we've talked on the show so many times about how we're fans of Mike Mondays.
Yes, of course. So as everyone knows, no doubt about it, social media is the place to be right now. If you're not on social media, you're not there. And we have some great people up at the store that said, Mike, we need you out there every single Monday.
Take the ball.
So
Take the ball,
You know
Mike.
what I do in the rain, the snow, the hot? I'm out there filming for you guys. So let's do it.
Again, thank you for coming onto the show, Mike. I tell people about Fairway Ford all the time. We had the opportunity about a month ago to go out there. I say it all the time. 500 vehicles in stock on your guys' lot. And we were talking about, I've never seen that many vehicles in stock anywhere. And
that was like the Disney
We
World
had the
cars,
opportunity.
yes.
I was a little scared with Jack behind the wheel, but you did a great job. We were what was it? The white Bronco, I believe.
It was the white Bronco, yeah.
Tremendous vehicle.
Too hot for gloves.
But Mike, I think if you were to go and look at every vehicle at Fairway Ford, I mean that's a day event.
I will tell you, we have 3 golf carts that do not stop moving around our lot, and it's just carrying people, and we're going and going because no one wants to foot that. I promise you right now, you will need new shoes afterwards.
now we're gonna talk some ball with our guy Mike, but a big piece of our fabric here as a city and as a sports town is our tailgate scene. And what you guys have with the Black Label trucks is like how to snap necks and how to turn heads at a tailgate. Walk us through what that Fairway Ford Black Label process looks like.
So I started it about 3 or 4 years ago. You come to us, or we already have the trucks upfitted, levels, lifts, wheels, tires. I could put JTX Forge wheels. I'm using that as an example on there. Some of the best in the industry. Shout out to JTX Forge. And we Rhino Liner from our Canfield Rhino Lining shop. Wheels, tires, lift, and you also get a bunch of very cool merch. Very cool merch.
Yeah, it's very cool. Oh, all right, so let's pivot to football a little bit.
We gotta get Shedeur thoughts.
Yeah, we gotta get Shedeur. But before we do, because we're talking about black label trucks and we're talking about like tailgating and like if you have a Fairway black label at the tailgate, like that's a way to turn heads. But like, what's your go-to tailgate food on college football Saturdays or Sundays for NFL for our
boys?
Browns?
There's nothing else besides a good glizzy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah. And that plays across sports too. Like you like obviously the baseball glizzy, that plays in a basketball arena.
I think sausage is underrated. I'd rather have sausage.
That's ridiculous.
Big sausage guy.
That's ridiculous.
It's not a popular opinion, but I was at a golf outing the other day. I got offered a hot dog or a sausage for lunch, and I took the sausage.
Well, I think brats. I guess I like brats more than hot dogs. So
See, I'm a roller dog guy. We actually take one
okay.
whenever we go party. We go a couple places a year. We have a roller designated just for partying.
I'm a big buffalo chicken dip guy. I think that's the way to go for football.
Jack is also a big pay extra at the stadium for the peppers and the onions because we're trying to get Stephen Kwan extended.
Yeah, real quick, if I can get a PSA on that on camera, thank you. If you want Stephen Kwan to be a Cleveland Guardian past 2027, when you go up to that stand and pay $6.50 for your hot dog, it is $2 extra for onions and peppers. If you want Jose Ramirez here past 2031, you want Stephen Kwan, hell, if you want Shane Bieber back in the offseason, onions and peppers on those dogs.
Mike, there's so many Browns fans across the country, right?
Absolutely.
And talking about Fairway Ford, not only do people in Ohio come to visit Canfield, but you got people from across state lines that come to Canfield just to get a vehicle from your guys' lot.
Michigan, PA. I mean, we sell all over the country. I had the awesome privilege of last year. I sold a F450 to a guy in Hawaii.
Wow. Dylan Gabriel?
When we say all across the United States, it doesn't have to be continental. I mean, we do it all 50 states.
That's absolutely crazy. That's amazing. All right, let's dive into Shedeur. Mike, watch the preseason game. Watch Shedeur Sanders' first start. You're a Browns fan, diehard, just like we are.
You got the watch on.
Your thoughts on just Shedeur Sanders, his first start, the Browns' future in general?
So I am a huge Shedeur guy. I love family, everything about it. Huge. Shiloh, love them all. My biggest question is, will he be a make or bust? I've been dying to ask you.
Want to start?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so because I think they've kind of got like the kid gloves on him right now. And I really don't think he would have even started Friday if any of the other guys were injured or not 41 years old. So I think they're slow playing this because they don't want to ruin him because there are so many people like you that are massive fans of the Sanders family. Like even my dad, it was cool watching the game, guys, on Friday with my dad, who was like a massive Deion Sanders fan. Like to be able to watch Deion's kid with his own kid. My dad even stopped in his tracks. He's like, this is pretty damn cool, especially because Shedeur was lighting up. But I think because of all of that goes into Shedeur, they are definitely like trying extra hard to not screw him up.
So it's safe to fair. It's easy to say that he's definitely getting enough reps and everything during practice.
That's the fun part.
Is the fact that we saw this kid come out in his first start and look tremendous. Now, is that going to be enough for Kevin Stefanski to go, hey, maybe this kid is, ahead of schedule as we thought? Now, we all originally thought he was, but Mary Kay Cabot came out with that article, which I thought she did a phenomenal job talking about Kevin Stefanski standing on the other field with the backups, Shedeur as well there, and standing behind, listening to him run the cadence, getting into huddle. That's not something she said that, head coaches do a lot for fifth-round quarterbacks. So maybe we need to pump the brakes on the whole narrative and we never bought into the narrative that they were setting him up for failure.
Right.
Maybe we need to pump the brakes and accept that maybe the Browns do kind of maybe a little bit understand what they're doing with this kid in the process.
Yeah, a little bit. But then the caveat, like the other shoe of that is that the rest, like the other options just like really stink. That's the other piece of it is that like even though they're trying to do right by him and slow play him and he was a 5th round pick and like if they didn't draft him in the 5th, who knows how far he would have fell. Like the other piece of it though is that like when your other 3 options are Kenny Pickett, who hasn't even been able to play against live defense because he hurt himself on a scramble at practice. Dylan Gabriel, who's finally back at practice today, but has yet to his first good throw at training camp will be the first that he has of all of training camp, and that's about it. Tyler Huntley, Deshaun, we're not getting it all.
I wanted to ask you guys around the room a little interactive question. Can I get a Rose, Thorn, and Bud from the Browns' first preseason game? So Rose is like the best moment of the game for you. Thorn, worst moment. Bud, thing you're excited to bloom.
Could I throw the Thorn out there as a little low-hanging fruit? Dustin Hopkins missed 2 kicks in that game.
That was gonna be in there for me. It was gonna be that or the reverse, because there's always the little Browns moments, like missing a kick after a cool touchdown. That's always a Browns tradition. The other one was like the early tight end reverse thing. I had no clue what was going on there. That was my Thorn too.
Can I use my bloom? So bloom is, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're excited to see grow, kind of like.
Yeah, or what's next? Yeah,
Mason Graham.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great bloom, Ryan. That's a great bloom.
I understand he was probably, of course, the one you identify on that defensive line because you weren't starting Miles, etc. But the double teams and Mason Graham was still forcing pressure every single play. You look at the double teams, guess what? Once Miles is in there, once you got the other starting defensive lineman, and you can't double team a rookie, at least I wouldn't think you would, because I don't think you can double team him and Miles unless you work something out. But for Bloom, Mason Graham, you talk about Shedeur Sanders, he gets the highlights, but your first round pick, I think, did a tremendous job.
Could he be better than Travis Hunter?
Oh.
Here's the thing. It might be hard to identify that impact, but could he be outside of the spreadsheet? I think there's a possibility.
Right? I mean, Travis Hunter played 0 snaps defensively with the first team, with Jags' first team. So, as a DB, he still must be working up to speed in Jacksonville. Contributed a little bit as a receiver. We all were of the belief, especially after I was in Indianapolis, when Andrew Berry kind of really made everybody say, wow, the Browns viewed him as a wide receiver first. Evidently, the Jags must as well. Maybe that's where he's furthest along, is Travis Hunter as a receiver. But I wonder if Mason Graham could, and who knows? It's tough to do this after one preseason game, and it'll even be tough to project this just after the rookie seasons. But I feel like with Myles Garrett on that defensive line, Mason Graham has an opportunity to be better and more impactful than Travis Hunter.
Let me ask you guys this, and I'll start with you, Mike. It's just the preseason. We don't want to overreact too much into it. But as Browns fans, especially this tumultuous offseason, it was good to see a good product on the field, whether it was preseason or not. Did that preseason game at least get you a little excited, Mike, or change your narrative on the Browns? I know it probably didn't, but did you get at least a little bit excited after seeing some success?
I got excited to see Shedeur out there and get the ball out of control for a little bit, in my opinion. But I'm going to circle back to another question. Is Joe Flacco still going to be QB1 week 1?
I think so. I think everybody's done a lot of talking, us included, guilty as charged. We've all done a lot of talking about what is going to happen week 1. It's almost starting to become, though, a process of elimination, just because Kenny Pickett, Ryan was kind of one of the first people on it, actually, and then everybody else kind of followed. That was the first guy that they went out there and got, and they traded an actual draft pick for, whereas Flacco, they just signed off the street again. But because Pickett hasn't practiced in so long in 11-on-11s against an actual defense, it seems like he's really fallen behind, and Flacco kind of by default is emerging as a real front runner to start September 7th at the stadium.
So to caveat that real quick, do you think Stefanski has anything to do with that?
I wonder. I think so, because I think they want to win. That's the other piece of this too, is even though they just won 3 games last year and everybody sees this as a little bit of a rebuild and nobody's really saying Super Bowl or even playoff aspirations, they got to at least win a couple games, just to keep guys engaged on their own team and in their own locker room. You got Joel Bitonio that decided not to retire, David Njoku's getting ready to enter a contract year. Miles decided to rescind his trade request when he signed signed that big extension. So, like, it's not like the team is garbage. So they got to try to find a way to win a couple games here and there. And Flacco probably does give them the best chance to do that. And, like, Stefanski's not an idiot. Like, I have to imagine that he recognizes that even though this guy is going to be 41, like, he's definitely not the long-term answer. Like, for the right now, like, he probably gives you the best chance to scrape anything together.
Jack, before we take a break, and I'm going to have you stick around, Mike, because we're going to do garage beer next. And I know garage beer would mix very well with some Black Label tailgating. But, Jack, you're not going to kill me if I take a break before I let you talk about DaBaby.
Oh, yeah, dude. This was the craziest thing of all time. So DaBaby, who was born in Cleveland, I believe, like might have spent a cup of coffee.
I didn't know that.
I think he spent a cup of coffee in town.
Is that like Steph Curry was born in Ohio?
Yeah, very similar to that, I believe. I think he's always kept Cleveland ties. I believe he actually returns to Cleveland every so often throughout the year. But if you know anything about DaBaby, you know he is from Charlotte. So he makes his way out to the game. And everyone saw the video of him just like bleep talking. See, I caught myself there, Mike. Just bleep talking some Panthers fans after Shedeur throws a touchdown pass. So he's wearing a Shedeur Sanders jersey and talking to Panthers fans, right? He's like yelling at them. And while wearing the Browns jersey, is waving a Panthers jersey in excitement as if it's his rally towel. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like, you got like the Rob Lowe NFL hat. There's like, or MLB hat, I think it was. There's lots of stuff like that in sports. But I love the fact that the man, he's from 2 hometowns, brings 2 jerseys. All-time call.
Welcome to the Shedeur Sanders effect, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You talk about
Dude, how long till we have like Beyonce sitting at the 50-yard line?
Yeah, remember when they drafted him? Sexy Red tweeted, when the Cleveland Browns season
Sexy Red, if you need a suite to sit in, Big Play will be here.
We talk about players that transcend
bow.
sports, and we talk about what makes a person famous, and Shedeur Sanders is that superstar. I think he fits that exact mold. All right, let's take a break. When we get back, Mike's sticking around. Got to tell him about garage beer and well as how that mixes with the Fairway Ford Black Label truck. Maybe a collab. How sick would that be? We'll talk about that when we get back right here on The Big Factor. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Gotta tell you guys all about our friends at Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in just 2 flavors, classic light lager as well as that classic lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. It's just beer-flavored beer the way you want beer to taste. Scan the QR code now or go give their website a visit, drinkgaragebeer.com, to find local retailers who sell garage beer near you. Again, that's drinkgaragebeer.com. I'm Ryan Tyler, Nick Padone, Jack O'Rourke, joined by Mike
Monday.
Star of Mike Mondays over at Fairway Ford. Mike, we talk all the time about tailgating. Obviously, the Black Label trucks at Fairway Ford, can't beat them. Garage Beer is a perfect tailgating beer. We talk about this show a lot. Is the best place to watch a Browns game? Do you like to go to the game? Do you like to just chill at your house? Do you like to go to a tailgate? I know some people that like to go to tailgates and then they go back home and watch the game at their house rather than going in. I've done that a few times. What's your tailgating go-to experience like, Mike?
Ooh, you pull in brisk 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Beautiful Fairway Black Label. You just got a couple cases of garage beer, and you're sitting out in the parking lot waiting to get on FanDuel. What else can you ask for?
That's a perfect summary.
I'm on this lounge of garage beers, and let me tell you something. This is cool.
It is a lot more.
I just bleeped myself again for you.
Yeah, hey, we're doing a great job. We're keeping each other accountable. I will say most people don't understand how comfy that chair is, because I think it looks like inherently you'd think on sitting like boxes of cardboard beer in it, like probably doesn't feel comfy. Incredible. And the garage beer, I don't know if people can still, they can't see right now, but the garage beer pillows, ridiculous on the back.
Yes, they are very comfortable. My next question for you, Mike, is best tailgate game. Is it cornhole? Is it just tossing the ball around? I'm a cornhole aficionado. I'm a big fan.
I'm old school, man. I think just tossing the pigskin around.
Tossing the pigskin around?
Yeah, I think pigskin or beer. Have you played beer die before, Mike?
I have not.
Okay, so this could be part of our.
This year
next
is going to
journey
be an
Fairway
amazing
Forward.
tailgating year. Let me just tell you, because we're going to be full of Black Labels,
Yep.
full of beer, garage beer only,
Garage beer only.
and we're going to have some glizzies.
We'll eat some glizzies, play some bets. Yeah, so beer die, you just get a table, and you line up against the buddy, you go diagonal that way, diagonal this way, you just throw the dice up in the area. It's like a run around game. It's fun. You'd be good.
I'm
we'll
in.
have to get you in on it.
Talk me into it.
I have this debate because might sound gross to you because we're talking about glizzies. I don't like ketchup or mustard.
Oh,
I think you know where I'm going with this. I do admit, I'm admitting this on a
Here we
television
go.
episode.
I've heard this take out of him like 100
I
times.
use mayo on my hot dogs, and a lot of people.
that's illegal. I'm just going to stop you right
Yeah,
there.
that's just like, that's a felony.
It's a felony. Maybe at a federal level. I'm not sure.
It's a war crime.
But you could get jail time for that.
Am I banned from Fairway after I said that?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
Everyone is welcome.
Even mayo on glizzies.
Even mayo
He
hot
is-
dog eaters.
He has like never backed down from that.
I will
I mean,
never
could
back
you
down.
imagine just going to a baseball game, just getting a Sugardale, putting some Hellmans on it?
Watching
That
some
sounds
dude next to you with a
disgusting.
Hellman's thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do
I-
they even have that? Because you know,
I
can't
might
like
report you to
don't have
security
that,
if I
'cause no
see
one
that.
does it.
I will report you.
yeah, because like at the Guardians games, like they have those massive like dishes filled with like ketchup packets and
Mustard,
patches,
relish, yeah, whatever you
and,
need.
like stadium mustard here in Cleveland is such a big thing. Like, so like, how do you even acquire
That
mayo
is just
at-
like, I don't understand, like, the taste doesn't, that's just gross. That's just gross on so many, ugh.
That's ridiculous.
It's impressive, though.
No, it is ridiculous. You're right. You're right. It is ridiculous.
I mean, let a man eat what he wants. Mike, what's the most thing you're looking forward to this Brown season besides Shedeur Sanders?
It's a good question.
Oh.
Just
all right.
winning some games, hopefully.
We need to do that. We need to do that. But maybe, and I know you guys are going to say this a million times, maybe finally a playoff run.
Oh, wouldn't
That's
that
it.
be nice?
Just a nice playoff run. And obviously, hosting the Lombardi wouldn't be a bad idea. But a nice playoff run.
Ryan, I know you have probably been like the most optimistic of all of us about what the Browns are going to do this season on the show. There's something to be said. My dad has kind of like been the biggest champion of this offseason. You know, everybody kind of understands it's in a little bit of a rebuild. But to Mike's point there is a sleeper team every year that nobody sees coming that accidentally wins 9 or 10 games and then just kind of catches fire. Like last
No
year.
one's saying Sam Darnold was going 13
Right,
games,
last
right?
year when J.J. McCarthy got hurt, nobody thought the Vikings were going to be what they were. Nobody.
I think the easiest bet to win double the games they did last year, I think, is the Patriots this season.
Yeah.
But the Browns, my whole point was you're getting rid of the Deshaun Watson experience, hopefully. You brought in Ken Dorsey as kind of this Deshaun Watson specified tailor. It didn't work. Nothing you were going to do with Deshaun Watson worked. You wipe away all that, the black cloud that was Deshaun Watson. You go back to the Kevin Stefanski roots. The question is now, do you have the personnel to succeed in that? Because I thought you did with Quinshon Judkins. That puts a big, crack in the plans, I would say. But the Browns are still so much more talented. And Nick, you talk about it. It's not nearly as dark as the days of 1-31. You still have all-pro people. I know it's really just Miles. Denzel Ward, when he's healthy, I'd say is an all-pro corner on this team. Like, there's talent. It's just the quarterback. And I believe in Kevin Stefanski. I always have. And when I go back to that basic offense, like, isn't it feasible to just win 5-6 games? I thought it was. And the preseason, I know I don't want to get ahead of myself, but seeing Shedeur, if he gets in there sooner than later and he can actually be the guy that orchestrates a decent, well-structured offense, I don't think it's out of the question. We talk about this all the time is, when do the Browns succeed? It's when you go into the season with the worst expectations. Every time we get our hopes up and you think you're going into next year building off momentum, the Browns, something goes wrong and they have a horrible season.
I think you can also say, though, not to play devil's advocate, but a lot of the times also when you think the Browns are going to have a bad season, they just plain have a bad season, too. Sometimes they just... what's under the car is what you think is going to be under the car.
Well, fingers crossed, guys. It's to be a long season. Mike, we can't thank you enough for coming on, man. Tell us one more time about Fairway Forward. Where can they go to find all your guys' deals? We talk about it every day. We talk about Mike Mondays every day. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here in studio. We're actually going to film a Mike Mondays after we wrap up here. But tell everybody about just the best thing about Fairway Forward.
Our sales process, it is second to none. You will not go to another dealership, especially in Canfield, Ohio, that has our sales process. You will sit with myself or another guy until you sign your paperwork. There's no man behind the box. There's nothing. We are the people that we're going to appraise your trade. We're going to do all the numbers, everything that everyone hates about car buying. If you come to Fairway, you're going to get away from all of that. I promise you that.
FairwayFordOhio.com is the place to go to find out all that information. Mike, once again, thank you for coming on. Excited to film Mike Mondays with you after you wrap up. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk, flip, about some Guardians. Really close to that final AL wildcard spot. Can they do it? Jack, I got a feeling they can. We'll talk about that when we get back right here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Nick Padone, Jack O'Rourke. Again, a huge shout-out to Fairway Forward Mike, star of Mike Mondays, coming on the show. Nick, we got to tell people about the 2025 Great Geauga County Fair because it is almost here.
Yeah, it is. It is coming up fast and furious. We are like almost to the point where it's about to be 2 weeks away. We're 17 days away right now from the Geauga County Fair. If you're watching us live on Big Play, if you're watching us on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network, you are 16 days away from the great Geauga County Fair. So get your tickets now. GeaugaFair.com, starting at just $10. Children 6 and under getting free, so you could bring the whole family. You don't got to sweat about spending a ton of money to go to some fancy city this Labor Day weekend, Thursday, August 28th through Monday, September 1st. We will be at the Great Geauga County Fair, and you guys should join us. There are going to be thousands of animals, all the fried food that you can think of, tractor pulls, demolition derbies. Get your tickets now and find out about all of the fun that you could have this Labor Day weekend right here in Northeast Ohio. You don't got to go very far. GeaugaFair.com.
Jack, the Cleveland Guardians are 61-56. The AL Central lead, they cut down to 6 games. That is a far cry from what it was a month ago. Just half a game back from that final AL wildcard spot. The New York Yankees have that as we speak right now, but the Guardians are playing pretty well. How confident are you that the Guardians can make a playoff push?
You know, I think we've talked about it on the show since March. I always said I would tell you when I'm going to say the World Series is done. Never said it. So, yeah, this team's alive, dude. And it's the starting pitching outside of Slade. I think you're going to see Parker Messick up for him probably in a week or so here. The big thing with that, dude, I'm excited for this rotation, is John Means rumored to be back, hopefully around the end of the month, maybe going into September. There's a chance that when John Means stays healthy, he's the best starting pitcher we have. I mean, he's only pitched 45 innings, I believe, since 2020, but when he is out there, like, he's one of the best. I mean, he's got like a career 250 ERA. He's pretty dang good. But I think the biggest story of the weekend was CJ Kafis, guys. Like, what he's doing is ridiculous right now. Comes up 7 for 26, hit a bomb, 5 RBIs. Like, yeah, you can say he picked it up a little bit against the White Sox, but anytime you see that power, the hands getting through quick, and pulling it off of a lefty, especially when we've seen no production lefty besides Kyle Manzardo this year, who barely gets to play lefty in the first place. Like, man, dude, I think they're fun. And Ryan, I really do think there's a shot. And I don't think the division's dead either, because we've said it on the show for the last 2 weeks. If Skubal is not on the mound, the Detroit Tigers cannot win a baseball game.
I said let's get nuts, Jack. 6 games back in the AL Central. You have 6 games left this season against the Detroit Tigers. Nick, is it possible that they can come back and win the AL Central?
I've been telling you guys no.
I didn't like that sigh.
Yeah. I've been saying no, but mathematics say yes, right? Like, it's 6 games. It's 6 games. You play them 6 more times. Hey, that evens you up, and they need to lose 1. You need to win 1, and you've won the American League Central. Who would have thought this? 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, when we went through the manual Class A ban and the Rockies came to town and smacked us on that dreaded Monday. Like, we thought this season was left for dead. So the fact that this baseball team is still fighting kind of bears its own like round of applause to begin with. And then the fact that you could talk about really being an arm's length away from the Detroit Tigers to host more playoff baseball here in Cleveland. There's a long way to go. You got to finish August strong. You got to get through September as well. But the stock arrow pointing up on this baseball team in a big way. And Ryan, I want nothing more than to be with you and Jensen Lewis doing some pregame shows at the Lakewood Truck Park for some playoff baseball.
It's also like one of the craziest things of all time, too. I think it's the exact reverse of what happened last year. Like, if you look at the team last year, the Guardians, no one thought they were going to be a playoff team. They start out way too hot. Someone forgot to tell them that they were good or that they weren't good. And they get to a point where they're at the deadline, they're buying, they go out and get Lane Thomas. The Tigers are selling at the deadline. They sold Jack Flaherty, who was one of the best pitchers in baseball at the time last year, right? Like, this year, it's the total opposite. Now we're at that point where, hey, if you fight forward, the big difference, though, Ryan, the Tigers didn't catch the Guardians last year. They have to come to Cleveland for Game 5. Lane Thomas loves swinging at the first pitch, right? 6 games left, a little under 2 months to go. You got a chance to take it back, get that home field advantage once again, and make them come here for a Game 5.
Well, this is the time of year when baseball games sure mean a lot, as we're getting close to that final MLB regular season game before the playoffs go. And in honor of that, we're going to take a break. When we get back, our first FanDuel parlay of the day. We all cooked up a leg. We'll tell you what it is and why we're confident that's going to cash you some money when we get back right here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Nick Padone, Jack O'Rourke. Can't say again how just excited I am for FanDuel to be joining the Big Play rocket ship. Jack, in honor of this partnership, we decided we're going to cook up a FanDuel parlay of the day every single day for the Big Factor listeners to hopefully tail and win some money for. Why don't you tell them our first edition?
Guys, lay of the day, number 1. We're starting out real hot with Nick's pick of the day, the Milwaukee Brewers, winners of 9 in a row. Big 5-run comeback yesterday against the New York Mets. Got to throw the Brew Crew in there. And then Rob's pick of the day. Didn't get to talk to Rob about this, but he's going with the Nerfy in the White Sox-Tigers game.
He did.
He did, which is odd because I like it. I like it. I think it's 2 fun teams to go with for a Nerfy. Then we got the Rangers money line. Nathan Eovaldi is like literally 60 years old, but he has like a 1.45 ERA this season. He's doing incredible and well over 100 innings. So Nathan Eovaldi, one of the hottest pitchers in baseball right now. Last leg, Rye. Should we knit today? A little crochet, get it going. Garrett Crochet on the mound, Red Sox money line against the Astros. Put all those together, plus 592 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app.
Nick, how you feeling about this one?
I like it. As good as any, you know. I think when you're back in a team like the Brewers, you know, that was kind of my leg to win 10 in a row. You start getting dicey because that hot streak, you know, has to come to an end at some point. But they were minus 270, I believe, at one point when these lines came out. So you got to put them in there.
That's where I was at. So my original little peek behind the curtain here, I was thinking Brewers minus 1.5 for this game yesterday because they were going to have Freddie Peralta going. Freddie Peralta got scratched from his start. It'll be Jose Quintana, the lefty. So I think that's why the odds dropped a little bit. But I don't see the Pirates deciding to start hitting for the first time in 3 months tonight. So
I like this because we have the typical money line sprinkled in there. We also have a Nerfy. I know Nerfies are a very fun thing to bet. People love them. Nick, I know you're a big fan of the Nerfies.
Yeah, I was looking for one today. I didn't love any of the pitching matchups today as much as Rob did. I didn't feel great about 6 outs to start a game as much as Rob did.
We need to get on a hot streak right away, guys.
We do.
We need the first one to hit so we can build some momentum going into this parlay every day.
But
I'm
also
so
think
excited
of it this way, though. I would like to guess in terms of daily bets, Probably gonna get a couple Cleveland Guardians bets out of us over here the last couple of months of the year, being from Cleveland. It's a guards night off when we're starting, so you got to factor that into. This is almost like a trial run to test out the whole entire sport and then lean it back into our
It's
guards.
a warm up. We're 12 days away from college football,
And that's
so that's really where, like, I know so many people are already kind of like,
We're gonna need to lock
betting
in
on
our
baseball.
Heisman futures.
Yeah, we like with it be future day, like we got to pick some NFL futures, we got to pick some college football futures. So keep it locked on the Factor because we're gonna have plenty of bets coming your guys' way over the next 2 weeks, let alone this entire football season.
Joey Pfaff is just deep on FanDuel right now. Good for him.
All right, let's take a break. When we get back, we'll wrap up the Big Factor right here on the Big Play Sports Network. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Wrapping things up, Jack, I want to ask you about Travis Bazzana real quick as we wrap this up. Finally getting the long-awaited call to AAA after getting healthy. Is it possible that we could see September 1st call up to the big league for Travis Bazzana?
I'm going to go hot take here on you. I don't think we're going to see Travis Bazzana, but I do think we're going to see someone called up yesterday, make the major leagues this year to AAA. Cooper Ingle, I think, is going to get the call on September 1st, and I have some reasoning behind that. I think you're probably going to be seeing Lane Thomas come back in the next week or two with how well CJ Kavas has done in right field. I think that's probably when you make the move for Nolan Jones to get option at that point or DFA and then clear waivers. So when that happens, you're kind of looking to fill that extra outfielder spot as well in a way. Because I don't know. I don't think Cooper Ingle has the defensive makeup to be an everyday catcher right now in the major leagues, but I think his bat is dang near close to being ready. So I think whether it is you maybe try and play him a couple of innings early at catcher and then let Austin Hedges come in as a defensive replacement or Bo Naylor, I think that's a possibility. I also think you could put him out in right field to help out Kafis. Maybe Kafis DHs. You don't play Santana or something. Manzardo at first and Ingle in right. So like, I think there's a bunch of ways to get one of these guys bats in the lineup. I do think it's Ingle though, not Bazzana.
Ingle's gonna have a lot of fanfare. I feel like as the last time we had a highly anticipated catching prospect come up from AAA, just because that position continues to be, even though the team has had a little bit of success recently, the catching position is one that has continued to be a little bit of a black hole. So if Cooper Ingle gets to Columbus and that bat is as hot as it was in Akron, there are going to be a lot of people pounding that drum to get him up here, get him up here, get him up here, because we are begging and longing for any semblance of an offensive bat from that catcher position.
The only issue is, what if he comes up and catches and is better than Bo Naylor right away?
Not an issue. Not an issue. But I'm very much pro good players on
That
my
is
team.
No, me too. I just think it creates a lot of It's going to create some stuff. It's going to create some stuff.
Hot take.
How Josh Naylor had like 100 stolen bases too. Where the heck was that?
All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody tuning into the Big Factor. Shout out Fairway Forge. Shout out Garage Beer. Shout out the great 2025 Jogging County Fair. And, of course, shout out FanDuel. We'll be back tomorrow. Same people, same time. Until then, peace out.